Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler.
All right, what's going on, everybody? 10:59. We are ready to roll with The Lock Shop. We are live at Boston Pizza in Manning Town Center. If you want to swing on by, we will be here up until noon, and then Oil Stream will take off at noon as well. So we'll be here through for the next 2 hours. And we're getting ahead of it a little bit on the Lock Shop today because we want to time it up so that we can go to this major CFL announcement that's coming down the pipe. And then myself and Huss will give you all of the reaction to it following the announcement. And it's a big one. I'm very excited to see the reaction of everybody when Stu Johnston lays out his vision for this league for the next couple of years and moving forward. So we'll get into that, and then we'll have a ton of reaction. We have a lot of football to break down as well. So we'll definitely go there on both sides of the border. But if you are watching today, you already know. If you're listening on TuneIn or iHeart at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, the Lock Shop and Edmonton Sports Talk is brought to you by our partners over at Play Alberta, and it would be a busy show even without all the CFL news. With all the football that we do have to discuss. But yeah, make your bets count for you and everyone else with the Play Alberta app. Hundreds of prop bets, biggest leagues, NFL, CFL, NHL, NBA, MLB, you name it. You're not just playing for fun. You are supporting the province. Play Alberta revenue helps fund Alberta programs and services. Deposit today with the code EST Sports. You get a $50 free bet on a $50 deposit. We are actually at Boston Pizza, like I mentioned. And hey, kids eat free all September, and join them for happy hour every single day. So that's coming up. Hopefully a few of you pop by. It's a very cozy location here, right next to the movie theater. It's a good spot to be in. I feel very comfortable here right now. So looking forward to that announcement and the reaction. There's obviously been a lot of people already online freaking out. I know some people are claiming a full Americanization of the game. I'll tell you right now, those people are wrong. But, there will be some adjustments that are going to be made that we'll have to have a conversation about. And, we'll see. We'll see where it's going. Adam Zeal over in chat says, I am still waiting on the misdirection, and instead of Americanizing the CFL, it's going to Europeanize the game, outlawing hand passes and making the end zone goals. We'll see. Maverick says they better not announce 4-down football. And spoiler alert, they won't announce 4-down football. We're going to see where it goes from here. But the boys will let me know when we're ready to pick that up. But it's I said it this morning on the show when I was brought in the loop on this yesterday. At first I was like, oh, and then the more that I thought about it, I was like, you know what, this is probably okay. This is probably okay. So all right, we are ready. We'll have full reaction from myself, Huss, all of you guys as well. But let's go to the commissioner of the Canadian Football League, Stu Johnston, with a monumental day here. I do believe that in the Canadian Football League.
Will not only elevate the CFL, but it also will make it better in the future. To give you all those details, it is not going to be myself. It is the 15th Commissioner of the CFL, Stuart Johnston.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. Bon après-midi et bienvenue. La route vers la Coupe Grey est bien lancée et c'est une période palpitante pour les partisans de la LCF. Mais aujourd'hui, nous sommes ici pour parler de l'avenir de notre ligue. The push towards the Grey Cup is well underway, and as Kate mentioned, it's an exciting time to be a fan of our game. Our season has showcased the hallmarks of the CFL: entertainment, excitement, and energy. But where do we go from here? What's next? We've gathered you all here today for a watershed moment in the Canadian Football League. 151 days ago, on my first day as commissioner, I stood in this very same room, and I talked an awful lot about enhancing the entertainment of our great game for our fans, both in the stands and at home. And through 16 weeks of football, I've watched so many incredible games with countless unreal moments. But a few plays have also stuck in my mind. We had the catch of the year, if not the decade, but some spectators, and certainly our television viewers, didn't get a great look at it because the goalpost blocked their view. The Tiger Cats found themselves deep in their own end, with their options severely limited by the goalposts. TSN's Paul Lapalisse did a great job of describing just how limited they were and just how predictable that made the next play. Argonaut quarterback Nick Arbuckle was in the scoring zone when a 13th defender knocked down what could have been a thrilling touchdown pass. I give you the doink. These plays did not incite the changes I'll discuss today, but they serve as recent, powerful examples that show we can do better. Our game must continue to evolve and modernize for our players, our fans, and our partners. A last-second field goal in a tie game sails wide through the end zone, and the kicking team is awarded a single point and a less than inspiring victory, what some have called rewarding failure. A team settles for a long field goal instead of an exciting third down gamble because the goalposts on the goal line, as well as the safety net of a potential rouge, encourage them to play it cautiously. A touchdown pass is completed in the corner of the end zone in one stadium, but everyone knows the same catch would have been out of bounds in other venues. We have seen a defensive lineman run 50 yards downfield to make a substitution, preventing the official from whistling in the play, slowing the game down, and exhausting a player before the ensuing play. These types of idiosyncrasies have been in our game for a long time, but that doesn't have to be the case. Today, we announce a significant step towards achieving our vision for the future of the CFL, with innovative landmark changes beginning next season through a phased approach. This will mark a major evolution of our game. As part of our most significant structural changes in 2027, we will move the goalposts from the goal line to the back of the end zone. This will allow passing offenses to target the middle of the end zone rather than defaulting to the sides to avoid goalposts. It will make going for a touchdown instead of settling for a field goal more attractive. It will deliver more unobstructed sight lines for fans, viewers, and television cameras. It will allow quarterbacks and punters, when operating from their own end zone, to play more freely. It will improve player safety because while collisions with the post may not be commonplace, the risk is clear. It will mean a touchdown pass will have to be stopped by a defender and not the occasional upright or crossbar. By moving the goalposts back, we project a 10% increase in completed passes in the end zone and 60 more touchdowns each year. In addition, end zones will also be shortened from 20 yards to 15. Our game will still feature the largest end zones in professional football while maintaining the importance of the kicking game. But this change ensures, for the first time in years, that all CFL end zones will be the same size. As you may know, Toronto's BMO Field features 18-yard end zones, and we have all seen the cropped corners at Percival Molson Stadium in Montreal. Lastly, in 2027, we will shorten the field from 110 yards to 100. This will, of course, allow offenses to start closer to the opponent's goal line. The shortened field keeps field goals in play despite the repositioned goalposts. To be clear, no changes are being made to the field's 65-yard width. Ahead of these structural changes in 2027, we will introduce a first phase of innovation in 26. This phased approach is essential. It ensures that our teams and stadiums have the time to explore how best to modify turf and reposition goalposts while evaluating opportunities for additional premium seating and new fan experiences. It also provides amateur football with a chance to review the potential impacts of these changes and determine if they wish to align with our vision and how that could be done. The first phase, coming in 2026, will include the introduction of an automatic 35-second play clock to create more consistent game flow. The CFL's current 20-second play clock must be manually initiated by an official. This change eliminates inconsistencies in timing caused by teams getting set at their own pace, varying times to set yardage markers, and much more. This change will ensure greater consistency in how long players, coaches, and fans have to wait between plays, while empowering players to control the pace of play, instilling a clear sense of urgency at the end of each half in game-altering moments. Another measure to hammer home this consistency in game flow will be the requirement to have team benches on opposite sides of the field in every stadium. Currently, some venues have benches side by side, which may require a substituting player to run nearly the length of the field to enter the game. And finally, I'll start by saying we are keeping the rouge, which is synonymous with the uniqueness of Canadian football, but we will modify it. There will no longer be a point awarded for a missed field goal or for a punt that sails through the back of the end zone, or if it rolls out of the rear or sides without being touched by a returner. This removes the possibility that the Grey Cup or a playoff matchup, or any game for that matter, will be decided by a missed field goal or a punt or a kickoff through the end zone. However, if a punt, field goal, or kickoff settles in the end zone and a returner fails to run it out or takes a knee, a single point rouge will still be awarded. The rouge becomes an active play outcome. When the full package of changes takes effect in 2027, including the shorter playing field, the modified rouge, and the repositioned goalposts, it will encourage more aggressive play calling, particularly on third down, when you consider the threat posed by a dynamic returner on a shorter field and an opponent's more favorable field position following a punt. This combination of changes will deliver more touchdowns. It will open up our end zones to our great passers and play callers, and it will ensure no game is decided by a missed field goal or a punt through the end zone. And fans in stadiums and at home will no longer have an obstruction between them and our most important highlight-worthy plays. C'est un jour important pour la LCF. C'est une avancée majeure dans l'évolution de notre sport, non seulement dans sa pratique, mais aussi dans la manière dont il fait vibrer nos partisans. This is an exciting day for the CFL. This is a clear step forward in the evolution of our game, not only in how it's played, but also in how it's enjoyed. It is important to note that this package of changes was approved unanimously by the CFL's lead governors, which includes team owners and chairs, and I want to recognize their boldness and decisive action. They understand that we can and must advance our game, not by abandoning what makes it so great and unique, but by building upon our game's legacy to make it more exciting, more entertaining, and better for our fans. This vision will enhance the value of our teams and the value of the CFL to our partners. Before we open up to questions, please turn your attention to the screen for a short video that does a great job of bringing these changes to life.
For generations, the Canadian Football League has thrilled fans with its speed, skill, and pace of play. It is a game built on tradition, yet never afraid to evolve. Now, the CFL is taking the next step in its evolution, a series of bold strategic changes designed to elevate the action, enhance the viewer experience, and position the league for the future. These updates will create more highlight-worthy plays, improve sightlines, and deliver more entertainment. Change 1, goalposts and field size. The goalposts will shift from the front of the end zones near the goal line to the back of the end zones Repositioning the goalposts removes an obstruction for the players and for the in-stadium and broadcast viewers. This change allows quarterbacks to use the entire end zone to their advantage. Historically, the placement of the goalposts has largely removed the middle of the end zone for quarterbacks. By shifting the goalposts, offenses will have the entire end zone to work with unobstructed. This will also remove the goalposts as an obstacle for teams operating deep in their own territory, or for defensive players covering receivers in the end zone. With the goalposts shifting to the back of the end zones themselves will be shortened from 20 yards to 15 yards. This will help mitigate the impact on field goal kicking, while still delivering a larger end zone than other forms of football. In addition to the reduced size of the end zones, the field will be condensed to 100 yards. This means that offenses will be starting drives 10 yards closer to their opponent's end zone and only 5 yards further from a field goal, despite the shifted goalposts. Team decision-making on third down is heavily influenced by field position. Typically, third down decisions are mostly scrutinized between midfield and the opposing 40-yard line. By reducing the overall field length to 100 yards and pushing the goalposts to the back of the end zone, this decision zone expands, encouraging more aggressive third down attempts as teams push for touchdowns, creating higher stakes plays that add decisive, entertaining moments to the game. Change 2. Rouge Rule redefined. The Rouge Rule gets a modern twist. Now, a single point is only awarded if the return team is tackled in the end zone or concedes voluntarily. No more points for missed kicks or punts, or kickoffs that sail or bounce out of the end zone. This eliminates a reward for failure, removing the risk of a game being won by a missed attempt. Kickers may also be encouraged to keep the ball in play more, forcing returns and creating opportunities for cover teams to trap opponents in their end zone. Offenses lose the safety net of guaranteed points on deep kicks, shifting decision-making towards more aggressive third down attempts and precision kicking. Special teams coordinators gain an expanded tactical role as directional kicking, coverage schemes, and situational rouges become more meaningful parts of the game. Change 3, play clock reset. We're introducing an automatic play clock reset, keeping the urgency up, the tempo fast, the action flowing, and the game flow consistent. Previously, each play required the official to reset the field for the next play and blow in the start of a 20-second play clock. The reliance on the official to initiate the play clock led to variability play by play and game to game. By moving to a 35-second play clock that resets automatically after each play, the CFL's unique pace will be maintained with consistency across games. Change 4, opposite sidelines. Teams will now occupy opposite sidelines in every stadium. This consistency improves visual presentation, reduces congestion, and streamlines player substitutions, as players will be closer to the play, regardless of where the spot of the ball is. It's a small shift with a big impact on game flow and presentation. These upgrades are designed to both honor tradition and embrace innovation. More touchdowns, cleaner visuals, smarter rules, a more entertaining game for everyone. Welcome to the new era of the Canadian Football League.
Now begin the question and answer period. We kindly request that you use a microphone when speaking. Before asking your question, kindly state your name and media affiliation, and please limit yourself to one question and a follow-up. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We have Herb and Arpen here with mics. Go ahead, Frank.
Thank you, Commissioner, for doing this. I guess the two questions are: the goalposts will be on the end line, or how many yards past the end line?
They will be set up basically even with the end line.
Right. So, and then now there's the situation with the 35-second clock, where there's an opportunity for the opposition that doesn't have the ball to waffle. What protection do we have against that?
Are you referring to timing maybe towards
yes, because you have a running clock. It's going to start without the referee's decision, and then the play has to start, right? The team with the ball has a right, I think, to have that 35 seconds, not have it mitigated by the opposition.
I think we're actually doing a lot to clean that up under the current format, because there is a lot teams can do with substitutions that prevent the start of that 20-second clock. Now it's straight up. We know it's 35 seconds, dead ball to snap, And I think that consistency is going to be appreciated by all teams and coaches.
Any other questions?
Thank you. Thomas Dagg, CBC News. Why now?
Why now for an announcement?
All these changes.
There are a number of reasons why we're moving forward at this time with this announcement. Number one is these are fairly significant infrastructure changes. We'd like to give our teams a year and a half to consider moving the goalposts, changing their turf. I'd also like to offer amateur football a good length of time to consider what these changes could be. And finally, we as a league are going to move at pace. I want urgency on the field, and I want urgency in our business, and we are going to push forward, and I saw no reason to delay.
Some of these changes bring the CFL more in line with the NFL. To what extent are these changes due to the popularity of the NFL in Canada?
Absolutely no percentage of these changes were made because of any type of comparison to the NFL. I look at the turf as a canvas. It's a canvas for our great game. 12 players, waggle, 3 downs. And we have cleaned up our canvas, and we've made it so much more open for the athleticism, the artistry, and the playmaking of our teams and players. That's what the focus has been on.
Go ahead, Justin.
Justin Dunk, 3downnation.com. Commissioner, my first one would be, you've only been on the job 151 days. How did you get to the point where you're making these types of changes in that little time frame? Can you take us through the process?
Sure. I came to this job with a message to the league governors, and they gave me the same message back. Status quo is unacceptable. So I came in with a lot of energy, and I've got an incredible team at the league office. I did a listening tour over the first 100 days, and we gathered a very small group at the league office that included football ops, marketing, data analytics, and we pushed forward these changes. We analyzed them, we understood, and every step of the way, we became more excited. Everything we unearthed was, oh my goodness, this is even better than we thought. This is going to create such an entertaining product on the field. At that point, we gathered all that data, presented to the league governors, and had unanimous and enthusiastic approval.
In the past, there's been some rumors about the league potentially going to 4 downs. The hardcore fans are going to look at these changes and think, this is going that way. Can you guarantee that under your watch, the CFL will never go to 4 downs?
I don't offer guarantees. I don't say the word never. However, I will say this was our major focus on the rules of the game and the infrastructure on which we play. I think you're going to hear a lot from myself and the league with exciting announcements over the next coming weeks and months. We're not focused on rules. Of course, we have a rules committee, and it will annually look to tweak and improve our game. But we have a lot of other exciting announcements we're working on, and that's our focus.
Morning, Commissioner Jermaine, Fan First Network. Can you just talk about the mindset in terms of the 2 phases and why the certain rule changes are happening in both the phases?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that we've moved the field infrastructure changes to 2027 to give all the clubs enough time to consider the impact of changing turf, changing paint, changing goalposts, figuring out new premium seating availability because we've shortened the field by 20 yards. So there's going to be more area behind the field. So it gives the teams enough time to focus on that. It also gives us enough time to have conversations with amateur football in Canada and see where they'd like to go and describe why we're making these changes and see if they align to that. And finally, for the changes we're instituting in 26, we're getting at it. There was no reason to avoid those changes.
Great, thanks. And just to follow up, for you, again, short time in the role and a lot of changes in less than a year, was there a hierarchy of rule changes for you personally? Was there something like when you stepped into the office, you're like, this is one thing I need to change immediately? Can you just talk about like your priority level for all these different changes?
You just saw us announce my priority. This was it. I came to the office with a lot of focus. When did I start thinking about goalposts? I think it was September 1987. I think that was it. I was playing quarterback on my football team, and I wasn't very good. However, I threw one of the best passes of my life on a post pattern. I think it was probably a 35-yard bomb. That's about the extent of my arm. And my favorite receiver, Jason Dewar, was running that post pattern, and that spiral was tight, and it landed on the ground right next to the post because, understandably, he had let up trying to avoid a steel post that was in his way. And I thought, why do we do this? And then when we brought the team together, boy, the analytics just absolutely supported what moving those posts out of the way can do for our game. So it's a priority. We didn't look at other rule changes and discard them. This really was the focus.
Matthew Cheney with TSN. Stu, if you're not going to provide any guarantees for potential other changes in the future, what is the period of evaluation after 2027 that yourself, the Board of Governors, and the PA are going to have to take a look at how the rule changes are affecting the game?
Oh, I think we'll be evaluating game by game and week by week and season by season. So that we're not going to give it a certain amount of time where, well, let's see how 2 years works out. We'll be looking and analyzing the data every week. And I truly believe we're going to be excited by the data that we see. And I'm looking forward to analyzing every aspect of our league, the business operations, marketing, the league itself, how we relate to our fans, in-stadium experience. All of that's on the table for us. We are going to push forward.
But is there, because there are two identifying markers that are going to change, the 55-yard line and obviously the end zones moving are two things, and the Rouge too, are some identifiers that people have with the league. Is there any rule that you hold sacred? Is there any rule that you think is distinctly so unique to this game that it has to stay?
I'm just going to answer that, Matthew, by saying I love our game. I love our game. And these changes are going to elevate the display and presentation of our game. That was the focus.
Commissioner Gilbert Ngabo from Toronto Star. I wonder if you can talk about the steps you've taken as a league to ensure that these changes help bring more fans to the game rather than drive them away.
Well, really it comes down, thank you for the question. We think touchdowns are an important driver for fandom. And ultimately what we're doing is we're trading field goals for touchdowns. And with all respect and appreciation for our field goal kickers, I did actually also kick when I was playing high school, so I do have a close connection there. This is going to create more touchdowns. And more touchdowns creates more highlights. And highlights drive through all forms of media, and that does drive fandom.
Any further questions? Thank you. That ends the formal process of the press conference. We will hold a scrum and one-on-ones in about 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. That is Commissioner Stu Johnston on some significant changes to the Canadian Football League. Let me just reset this quickly. In 2026, we will go to a 35-second game clock, play clock. There'll be a modified Rouge, no more points for punts or field goals that go through the end zone, and no more teams on the same sideline, which is just common sense. It should have never been that way anyway. And then in 2027, this is when things will really, really noticeably change. The end zones will be shortened from 20 yards to 15 yards. The uprights will be moved to the back, and the field will still stay as wide as it is, but they'll take out the 55-yard line, so they'll cut 10 yards off of it, and you will get a 100-yard field. Huss was sitting here watching it as well. Huss, first of all, I got to get your thoughts, man. What do you think of this today?
Well, listen, I will say this, dude. I cannot remember a press conference which was more anticipated by people where they didn't know what was going to be said. Like,
and
I don't
nothing
know how,
leaked. Nothing leaked.
Exactly. I don't know whether everyone was just on board with this but whatever. They did a great job in having some real suspense in this. And listen, I know a lot of hardcore CFL fans were somewhat concerned about what could be. There were some things that I expected to be mentioned that weren't, but at face value of what they said, I mean, I can totally understand why they're making some of these changes. And I will say this, for my personal opinion, as a big backer of the Canadian Football League, there's not one thing that Stuart Johnson mentioned that's going to change that would be a hill to die on for me personally. I don't know whether you saw me backstage when they were playing the video of the when discussing about moving the end zones and talking about that getting in the way of the quarterbacks, because Winnipeg fans will always remember the Doink in the final against the Saskatchewan Roughriders, or Cody Fajardo put it off that one. That'll be the memory of that. But I mean, basically, when you think about what Stuart Johnson said, it makes a lot of sense.
It does make a lot of sense, man. This is what I said. This is what I said on my show this morning. So Stu was reaching out to a bunch of us who would be, regulars on CFL broadcasts. So I heard this entire conversation with him yesterday. And when he first told me, I was like, pretty drastic. But then we chatted about it, and I was like, you know what? A lot of this just does make sense. So today I was telling people, I said, listen, when the news comes out at 11 o'clock, there's going to be a few things where like, oh my God, I hate this. But I thought they did a good job of describing why it could make the league better, right? The whole uprights at the front of the end zone, they showed a bunch of examples of it, but he told me on the call yesterday, he said, listen, man, he goes, we've looked at it, and like 80% of balls that go into the end zone are targeted to the corners and edges. He goes, we're literally eliminating a third of the end zone with the uprights being there. So that made sense to me. And then if you're going to move the uprights back, you got to shorten the end zone a little bit. And they didn't take it to an NFL size. They made it like a hybrid 15. The whole length of the field thing is probably the one where I was like, But once again, with the end zones being shortened and the field goal or the uprights being moved, it kind of does justify eliminating the middle 10 yards. But like the one thing, we had Marshall Ferguson on today, we had Steinberg on this morning, and you said it. You said there's not one change in here that is a hill. They didn't change the downs. They didn't change the number of players. They didn't change the width of the field, which is a very unique thing as well. So yeah, I actually think if people sit down and think about it, I think it does make a lot of sense what they announced today.
I mean, listen, the moving the end zones to the back, I think, is a good move. I'll just say that. I'm in favor of that. And listen, I think having standard 15-yard end zones is another bonus. I mean, listen, he referenced this, and you'd know this more than anyone from calling games all around, but it is sort of weird that, plays that would end up in a certain spot or a touchdown in one spot that aren't in another.
It's actually completely ridiculous. Like, it really is.
Yeah. I mean, listen, baseball has different size ballparks and all that, but I mean, for professional football, a standardized uniform playing field, I think is good. Going from 110 to 100 is, as I said, the actual effect of this on the game, I think, ends up being positive. I think a lot of the things that were the targets, I think, will actually come out of that. I'm a little choked because we're going to have to change the name of CFL 110 to CFL 100.
I didn't even think of that, but you're right.
I was just thinking about that right now. Geez, all of our branding and everything. We're going to send them a bill.
The new merch.
And listen, I'll say this. I've always been a Rouge guy. So I've loved that sort of quirk of the Canadian Football League, but I will say this. It would be a disaster to have the Grey Cup won on a missed field goal going through the end zone.
As much as we love the league, it would be ridiculed around the world. Team wins Grey Cup championship in Canada on missed field goal. Like, that would be an all-time bad look.
But I'll say this, and listening to the way they described it, if you were going to tweak the Rouge, which they are obviously going to, I think the way that they've settled on it is actually a really good one. Like, there'll be an incentive for punters to get them into the end zone but not go out. And there'll be an incentive to actually carry the football out. But as far as just blasting it through for a single point, that won't be the case anymore. So, I mean, even as someone that's always enjoyed the quirkiness of the Rouge, I understand this change, and the fact that it is still there, potentially available, will encourage more returns, but won't reward abject failure. It's something that I can certainly live with. And I guess the other thing, Dusty, and this is the one thing that I haven't entirely wrapped my head around, you'd probably be a better person to speak to, is just how different this 35-second clock will work, as opposed to where we're at
the
right
one
now.
thing I didn't ask him yesterday, and now I wish I would have, because like the clock stopping in the final 3 minutes is what makes our final 3 minutes great. And I don't think they would want to change that. So the clock could still stop, but the play clock gets running, right? The 35-second play clock. I think I should have asked him about this, because what I did ask him when he said the 35-second play clock, I was like, okay, because right now we have the 20-second play clock. But I asked him, I said, how like, what is the time usually between plays? By the time they reset it, by the time the official blows it in, and he goes, look, it's usually anywhere from 32 to 38 seconds anyway, and sometimes more than 40. He goes, so we put in the 35, but I didn't ask him. Hopefully, nobody asked him there. I was kind of hoping somebody would. I'm sure in some one-on-ones it'll pop up. We'll probably see it online here. But I really hope the 35-second play clock doesn't kill how we currently operate in the final 3 minutes, because that would be the biggest downfall of all of this if it's going to impact that. But as far as, like from play to play in the second quarter, and you're usually looking at 35 seconds before you get the ball snapped again anyway. So I don't think, outside of it possibly impacting the final 3 minutes, I don't see that being too big of a difference. Now, I wonder if that's already out there. I wonder if somebody already asked him and got it up somewhere. We'll see. We'll see if anything comes up.
Like, because I'm sort of with you, and it was funny watching the Chiefs Giants game last night, knowing that this was coming at noon today and not knowing what was going to be announced.
Yeah.
When you, I mean, listen, the last 2 minutes of the game was kneel downs. Andy Reid and Dable were shaking hands at center before the clock was even over, because the game basically ended with 2 minutes left. I always appreciated the Canadian Football League. I mean, like you mentioned, I mean, the way the clock's always worked in the final 3 minutes is something that I prefer to the National Football League. But I mean, listen, I mean, at the end of the day, these changes are made to try to make the game better, to make it more entertaining.
Did he say, did I hear him correctly? Huss, did he say this will add 60 touchdowns a season?
Yeah, that's their.
Sounds like a crazy big number, but that's like 3 touchdowns every 4 games. So maybe it's not. When I heard 60 touchdowns, I was like, oh my God. But there's 80 some games. So, I mean, CFL with more touchdowns, I mean, I get it. I mean, that could help. I don't hate any of these. The key components outside of, the 110-yard field have sort of still been maintained. So let's see how this looks.
Let me ask you.
But I do want to know about that final 3 minutes.
This is a clarify on the field goal, or this is basically to the Rouge. So here's the scenario. Okay, the Bombers are on their 30-yard line in this new format. So you're kicking it. You got 7 yards back.
52-yard field goal. That's a 52-yard field goal.
Yeah, 52. So Sergio doesn't get all on it. And this thing comes up 5 yards short in the end zone.
Kick it out, baby.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, or do they have to return it to avoid getting a Rouge?
Oh, I think you can still kick it out of the end zone to avoid getting the Rouge if you want.
Yeah, but the kick, but okay, that I'm just saying, like at any point, like whatever, like second quarter, like we're gonna go kicking. But
okay.
If it's a missed field goal, that is in like the ball is
that would still be a Rouge.
Okay,
if you make a decision to take a knee in the end zone, that's still a point.
But there is the returner has to bring it out. They can't just say he missed the field goal and walk off and it's 0 points.
No, I think you would have to bring it out.
Okay.
Or forced to take the single. Like take a knee, I think.
Yeah. Well, there'll be.
Yeah.
I mean, as I say, we're going to have some questions just over to exactly how that it is executed. But I mean, overall, I mean, to me, I kind of understand what they're trying to do. As I said, there's not anything that's a hill to die on for me. It might look a little different, but I can't say that I look at it and think that this is going to be anything other than, you know, some modernization or tweaks of the CFL game that hopefully will make the game better and more entertaining.
This is still more of a Canadian game than the American game, is it not? Like with the 3 downs, and I see people in the chat being like, "Well, you might as well just add 4 downs. It's totally gone to the NFL." I'm like, no, this is still completely different.
No, the CFL,
like 3 downs, wider field, extra player. It's still very much
to
different.
Me, those are the
like he said it. He said it on the, I was hoping he would use that line. He said basically what they're doing is they're changing the canvas that the Canadian game is played on. Right? Like that's what they're doing.
Canvas.
Yeah, the canvas. Change the canvas that the Canadian game is going to be played on. And I'm kind of intrigued by it. I'm also a little surprised that 5.5 months into his commissioner tenure, he's making these significant of changes. Like this is obviously something that he was probably thinking about before he got the job. It might have been something that he even pitched when they were interviewing for the job. And he did say, I think yesterday he said to me, enthusiastically like unanimous, and like the entire board was like, yes, we are in. So I don't even know if they really needed much convincing. So I think there's a lot of people in the league that are behind this.
Well, this isn't like, you know, like some guy that just came to be the CFL commissioner after being the, you know, sponsorship guy for Mark.
Not coming from
Warehouse.
Pepsi.
I mean, the guy's been the president of TSN, which has basically been the engine of the CFL for 20 plus years. So for sure, these are conversations that he'd been thinking of and having for a heck of a long time. And now today has the opportunity to put them in. But I think it is important to note about the unanimous support of this. I mean, like, listen, you know, I know sometimes you get a new commissioner in, or you hear particular people spouting, you know, viewpoints or angles, whether it be on social media or out there, that are there. But like the teams, the CFL teams, the Board of Governors, every single person that's entrusted with this Canadian Football League are looking to make it better, to make it, you know, more, you know, established in areas that aren't. Like, all of this stuff is done with the health of the game in mind. And the fact that you had unanimous support of this from around the Canadian Football League, I think speaks to the fact that, you know, some changes were necessary, and they've got the buy-in from everyone in and around. But let me ask you this. Were you surprised? I was surprised that a couple things weren't mentioned moving forward. And it's not necessarily about the actual game, but I was kind of thinking that we might finally get the schedule moved significantly earlier. And
that's an ongoing one that they could probably look at some point.
And listen, I mean, I'm still, I mean, I know it's always fun with the East and the West, but I would prefer a 1 division league. And when you get that 10th team, it's 10 teams, it's 18 games, home and away against every team, even balanced schedule. Now they got to figure out about that 10th team, whether they can do it in the Maritimes or in Quebec City. But it sounds like there's been in the last 6 months, there's been interest for CFL expansion, which I don't know if we could really say for the last little while. So, I mean, yeah, there's still a couple of I'm 100% with you on the 1 through 9, like just one division. You can still make it so that, you know, some teams, as long as we're in this 9-team league, that, you know, the Riders and Bombers still get to play 3 times, and the rivals still get to, you know, there's still ways that you can keep the West rivalries by having the standings change with the 1 through 9. I mean, I think something like that. I think some of the other suggestions of going to an award system where you can have 3 nominees and it doesn't have to be East versus West, and maybe there's a modification of the MOP to an MVP, or like, I think those are probably a different discussion. That's why this year, like, this was more game related as opposed to bigger picture related. That could be something that we look at,
adding on this Grey Cup and next Grey Cup maybe, or
No,
something
I
along
like what
those
you
lines.
just mentioned. I never actually thought about that, but I've always thought of the alignment to a one division league is just more fair for everybody. Now, while you have 9 teams, obviously you're going to play one or two opponents at extra time.
Teams twice. Yeah.
I think you just need to make those, random or in some sort of order that you pop out. You're going to maintain.
You know what you do, man. You play every team twice, and then you build these Stampede Bowl, the Banjo Bowl, like those things as that's one of their 2 bonus games. And you actually market those 2 extra games as that's a way to kind of build that up a little bit. So
you get an extra Grey Cup rematch in week 1 every year.
Yeah, something like that, right? Like
there's ways that you can do it. But the bottom line is 16 of your 18 games is going to be home and away against every other team in the league. And you find a fair way of distributing those extra 2 until you get that 10th team. And then you don't have to do it. Then it's an absolute perfect setup for an 18-game schedule with 10 teams in your league, 9 at home, 9 on the road.
Yeah.
2 games against each and every team.
But there's some, like Lucas just texted in, and I totally agree with Luke, and I can't figure it out for the life of me. And I've asked people, says I would love to hear some clarity on when the command center is allowed to overturn calls in the field when a challenge hasn't been thrown. And so there's lots of those types of things, right? Where by no means is the league perfect. Nobody's ever said the Canadian Football League is perfect. Nobody really thought they'd package all of these changes into one sort of announcement either. But there's lots of different things that this league can continue to modify. And, it's been a very exciting season so far. And if you can make this product that's already very exciting, even that much more exciting, for lack of a better term, I'm kind of excited about it. So let's see how it plays out. It's going to be weird, though. It's going to be weird rolling into these stadiums, man, and seeing the field will be 20 yards shorter, right? 5 yards off each end zone, and then 10 in the middle. So it's gonna look a little bit awkward. It'll take some getting used to. But yeah, I think the more you think about it, the more you're gonna be like, I see a lot of people already in the inbox over on Twitter being like, outside of a little anti-shortening the field 200 yards, I don't mind it. So I think that would probably be a popular opinion amongst a lot of people.
Like, here's the thing, though. Yes, the field is shortened, but in some ways, it's actually bigger in that, we're going to have 130 yards from field goal post to field goal post.
Yeah.
From the back of each end zone to back of each end zone. Now, considering
before we only had 110.
15 yards, like people kicking field goal. Like, for instance, let's just use Castillo because he's got a bomb of a leg. Like, Sergio has been kicking field goals on the other side of center this year. Like, he has a 60-yarder, which basically means that you're on the 53-yard line of your opponent. You snap it 7 yards back, and you're kicking it from your own 50 for a 60-yarder right now. Well, that moves up to the 45-yard line now. I mean, like, there is that difference. So in a way, yes, technically the 110 is smaller. The actual area that teams are playing offense, if you will, or going for it or punting,
that should drive. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Becomes a lot bigger. Like, that field goal zone is shortened, if you will, because of moving the things back. Never mind the benefits of not having it in the way. So, like, I don't know whether the changes will be, like, it'll look a little different, and it's definitely going to play into decision making and field goal kicking.
Yeah.
Like, for actual offensive football, like the things that we love the most about the Canadian Football League, I think you'll have more aggressive offenses in the center of the field in areas that traditionally they leaned on field goals.
We were talking about this at the office before I left, and we said, listen, let's say it's 3rd and 6, and you're on the other team's 39-yard line. So you would be looking at, like, what would that be? 39 plus 15 plus 7. So you're looking at like a 60-yard field goal. Are you going to be going for it on 3rd and 6? Or are you going to punt it and you're going to be kicking from the other team's like 45? Or are you going to just get after it a little bit more? And if you turn it over on the other team's 35, and you don't have to worry about attempting a 62, 63-yard field. I don't know. I'm very curious to see how coaches approach this.
Yeah, no. Hey, our Patty G's in the house. He's here. Listen, big NLL guy.
Big NLL guy, yeah.
Fellow TSN broadcaster like you. Patty says NLL moved to the unified standings. No more division. Each team plays each other once, and extra games are with traditional
or regional
rivalries. Which is basically kind of what we're talking about. Again, the perfect scenario is a 10-team league. But right now,
even this year on the schedule, each team plays each other twice, and then they play a division rival 3 times. Twice, two division. It's the same thing.
Exactly. But right? I just, and as I said, we're talking about this crossover. It's if the Lions or the Argos will make it if they have the same record as a team in the West. Well, you could argue that those teams have the same record, and the team in the West played a more difficult schedule, playing against more of the top teams, and obviously with their extra games. So, as I say, and I think it would be really cool, Dusty, if under the one division format, where you've got the number 1 and 2 teams getting the bye and setting up kind of a 1 through 6 tournament. You could have some crazy playoff matchups. I mean, it could be the Bombers at Montreal. I mean, you could have Hamilton at Edmonton in the first round. I mean, you could have BC playing the Argos. I mean, I'm here for all those. I'm here for that sort of tweak to it. So, as I say, we'll see how that may change going ahead in the future. But as far as the game itself goes, this is a pretty interesting moment that I'm sure is going to get a lot of people talking about it. But I will say, as a CFL defender, there's nothing that was announced today for me personally that is that's a no-go. You won't see me losing my mind online today because of everything that Stuart Johnson just told us.
I'm very curious to see. I mean, there's a lot of people who are always very critical of the Canadian Football League, no matter what they do. And I'm interested to see what those people are like.
I mean, honestly, do we really care about those people? There's a lot of people that will just bitch to bitch. It's not like there is, you have to acknowledge that there's some people that just aren't with you, that regardless of what happens, I mean, they're not going to be the
no matter what, right?
Around. I mean, honestly, I don't think you can really worry about those people too much. I mean, the fact of the matter is every team approved this enthusiastically. And there is the feeling within the league that this is going to benefit the product. And I mean, as someone that buys tickets and goes to all the games, that sounds good to me.
Yeah, no, it's good. We got about 4 or 5 minutes. We can do a full NFL recap tomorrow, but we do have the Monday Nighter tonight. So what are you expecting from this Lions Ravens? There's so much. I'd said at the beginning, I said this would have been a crazy busy show even without the CFL announcement. So ton of football stuff tomorrow. But what do you think about this Monday Nighter?
I'm just happy that we can get. I need another day to be another day removed from what happened yesterday with a couple of the worst beats, including an all-timer. I mean, the Rams game.
We could spend an hour on just that finish.
Thank you, Stuart Johnson and the Canadian Football League for getting my mind off of that. So where are we at? We got 4.5 tonight. Lions and Ravens. I do like the Ravens in this game. I still think they're going to have a bad taste in their mouth from what happened 2 weeks ago in week 1 against the Buffalo Bills. And while Detroit went up and down the field against the Chicago Bears last week and putting up the 50 burger, to me, going outside to Baltimore, albeit early in the season, is a much, much more difficult task. Listen, I hope this is a really close game, but I think I'm lean Baltimore at -4.5. And the guy that I think is going to go off tonight is one Derrick Henry. What
we got a little we can take a look at his numbers. I do have a parlay up right now. Derrick Henry anytime touchdown and Gibbs over 3.5 receptions.
Okay.
I think I like that one. I like that one a lot, actually. But yeah, what's the line on Derrick Henry tonight?
What do you have? I'm seeing 87.5 over at -116, plus money on over 92.5.
Yeah, exact same.
97.5 plus 129. I mean,
you're thinking there's a 100-yard game coming here, eh?
I'm thinking there's a 100-yard game from Mr. Derrick Henry today. And I think I might do. Well, I did that yesterday with the with my Jonathan Taylor prop. I bet it at the regular number at whatever it was. I think it was 13.5. And then I bet it again at a like plus 141 at 18.5. And he ended up at 16. So I won the first one. I didn't win the more aggressive one. So I might hit that. But I think I'm going to roll with the Ravens to win this one. Although, like, what do you think about? You're a Lions guy. I mean, can they hang with this? I think they can. I think they can hang with it. It's actually technically for me, I think a stay away number. I mean, I don't know. I think the Ravens probably win this game, but I still think the Lions are talented enough to make it somewhat interesting. I'm trying to figure out what the play is for me on this total. It's at 54.5 right now. You liking the over in this one? That's a high number for a National Football League game, man. That's a CFL number right there. Yeah, it is. Yeah, 54 is a lot. But
I think both
of these teams can score. I mean, does one of these teams get to 30 points? I wouldn't be surprised if they do.
No, yeah, I mean, you're going to have to. I just, like, if Derrick Henry is dominant, is he dominant enough that they can run the clock down a bit and control the game, or is he just so dominant that he just keeps running over them? And
I think he might get 40 on a chunk. I mean, when he gets running downhill, it is going to be a serious challenge. Gibbs, so you're on the Gibbs receptions, eh?
Yeah, I'm on the Gibbs receptions. He was targeted 3 times last week, caught all 3. I think he might be targeted a little bit more in this one against the Ravens. And then in week 1, he was targeted like 10 times. And that was against a Green Bay defense that was, I mean, pretty legitimate. And they ended up checking it down to him a ton. He's been targeted 13 times this year. He's caught all 13. And I got the number at over 3.5. So I do like that one tonight.
Give me the Derrick Henry over rushing yards.
That's what you're going to go with.
Actually, what's Lamar's as well?
Is Lamar going to throw for more yards than Chris Streveler?
Yes.
Oh, man. That was ridiculous. As a play-by-play guy, I was like ashamed. I was like, God, it's midway through the third quarter here. Streveler's 1 of 6 for 11 yards.
You're part of the problem then, Dusty. You're part of the problem. Folks, football is the ultimate team game. It is not just a dog and pony show for quarterbacks to go out and do their things. Guess what? You can win football games in a lot of different ways. And defense, special teams, and running the football can get it done. And it did get it done. The Bombers tweeted this out. As much as they will take some heat, and Streveler will take some heat for doing nothing through the air, they need to apologize to nobody. They had to find a way to win the game. They were without their number 1 quarterback. They went and got it done. They got to 7-7, had to have it, move on, try and get healthy, try and get their quarterback back, and make some noise come playoff time.
What's coming up on WST, Huss?
Well, listen, I mean, we're going to be talking a lot about these CFL changes.
I'm hopping on, aren't I?
You were hopping on around
right.
2:10 Winnipeg time.
Okay.
And we'll kind of reset a bunch of this stuff for our WST peeps. John Shannon's going to jump on with us to talk Jets and the upcoming hockey schedule. We will get into some of the NFL from last night. We'll talk the Monday Nighter, Blue Jays clinching the playoff spots. So it's going to be a very, very busy show coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, that is going to do it for the Lock Shop today. Monumental day in the Canadian Football League. We'll have more reaction than that, obviously, as we work through the day here on Edmonton Sports Talk. We got the oil stream coming up. We got the jersey reaction. We got some preseason split squad stuff. And, of course, Connor McDavid is unsigned. So we'll get into that here at Boston. Well, he's not unsigned. He just hasn't signed an extension just yet. That's going to do it for the Lock Shop today. Thank you very much for joining us. Best of luck with whatever you're on the Monday Nighter tonight. We'll talk to you tomorrow.